everyone, and welcome to another live YouTube Q&A. This is your host, Roberto Blake of robertoblake.com, helping you create something awesome today. So guys, I know it's been a little while. I've been traveling, believe it or not. I've been going all over the place. This time I was in beautiful Palm Springs for about maybe 4 days, 3 or 4 days at ClamorCon. It was a great event. It's a very intimate gathering of YouTubers getting together. We do some sessions. It was put on by some great people, and I'm really excited about it. I learned a lot about the different struggles that YouTubers of varying sizes have. There were small YouTubers at this. There were also some very large YouTubers with over 1 million subscribers at this. It's not like VidCon or Playlist. It's something that I think we really need more of. It was more of almost, I would say, a business retreat for YouTubers. And one of the great things that I got out of this was being able to ask people what they're struggling with in YouTube, what they're doing, and people were able to be very honest with me, very candid about what's going on and what their concerns about the platform and all of the new changes mean. What I was able to do was I was able to kind of, between information that has gone back and forth between myself and friends like Daryl Eves, Amy Schmittauer, Sonny Larduzzi, Tim Schmoyer, Brian G. Johnson, Nick Nimmin. We've all been talking a lot in groups, one-on-one, and we've come to some interesting conclusions about YouTube. I won't be covering all of that here. I'll be covering some of it. Also, I want to wish you guys a happy Sunday for those of you watching live right now. For those of you watching the replay, there's some resource links in the description for you to check out, including the YouTube Creator Insider channel. This is a channel that YouTube's product team put together where they're going to talk to you about YouTube from their perspective as people who actually work there. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Right now we have Super Chat going on for the live. Jay Smith actually just donated $5. Thank you so much, Jay. Really appreciate you and everybody who donates during the Super Chat. You guys are amazing. And I don't usually expect it. It's not something that, I ask for, but if you do want to donate, it's definitely appreciated. I recommend that some more of you do live streaming. Also, if there are smaller creators that you want to support in these times where the AdSense stuff is less certain than it's ever been, I definitely recommend you support other creators, whether it's through Patreon or Super Chat or buying their merchandise. Support the YouTubers that you love and you enjoy so that they can stay here on the platform, which definitely is a good segue into what I want to talk about today. So I want to talk about 5 things that YouTube absolutely wants from you. I've got some notes, believe it or not, for this live stream just because I want to make sure that I'm on track for this, and I'm definitely going to answer some of your questions. But I do want to get through these 5 major things because they're important and they're going to probably, for many of you, define the way that you approach YouTube going forward. So I want to get into that. There are a lot of questions that you guys have about this in general. Do you need to be uploading daily? Do you need to make longer content? Is there a place still here for smaller creators? What's going on with the AdSense and the ad revenue? Is there a place here for rogue content anymore, quote unquote, or mature content? And I definitely want to get into these things. I want to talk about them because it's something that while I was at ClamorCon talking with creators from every genre, I talked to everyone from pranksters, gamers, music channels, vloggers, lifestyle channels, beauty channels. I talked to literally everybody I possibly could and tried to get into their head and figure out what is going on with them in YouTube, what they're seeing. A few people even let me see some things under the hood, which obviously I won't, talk about, but I'll talk about the lessons learned from it. And what I want you to understand is that no matter what level of a creator you are, the challenge of YouTube is still there, no matter what level you're at. There are still things in the algorithm that affect people, whether they have 1,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers. The algorithm still impacts all YouTubers. Some people do have an advantage in one way, but it also creates a disadvantage for them in a whole other way. And that's something that really stood out to me when I was thinking about this, is that we can't do this comparison game of comparing one channel to another just because they have either the same genre or the same subscriber count. every YouTube channel is an individual, unique experience, which is why I have to keep doing videos like this. I have to keep doing live streams, is because there's no silver bullet across the board answer for most of the things that you are encountering and struggling with in YouTube. It's why I will have to, whether like I get super excited or super bored with talking about it, I'll have to keep talking about YouTube if I'm going to help you guys, because it's evolving, it's changing, it's growing, and everyone has their own individual experience of it and their own situation, and they need their own answer. So, I mean, that's why we're doing the live stream. That's why we're doing Super Chat. Trenton Marshall, thank you so much. $5. MVT, most valuable tuber. Love the tips. Thank you so much, Trenton. Super appreciate that. That's a nice compliment. Justin Dow with another $5. I wish I could have been at the meetup. I live 45 minutes away. Yeah, sorry we didn't see you there, Justin. Maybe next year. But yeah, each channel's content is unique, but also each channel's situation is unique. A primary example would be there are YouTube channels that have teams behind them. Right now, I'm still a solo creator, but I do not want to stay a solo creator in 2017 through 2018. I don't want to be a solo creator anymore. I want to move to building a small team to help me, and it's going to start with having an editor take over half of my content so I can continue to upload very frequently and maybe even upload more. But not everybody's in a position to do that. I certainly wasn't the first year I did this, or the second year. Maybe I could have gotten away with it the third year, and this year I definitely can afford to do that, and so I plan to. So you can't necessarily judge the channels from solo creators versus creators who have a team behind them. Creators who have a team behind them have the ability to get more view velocity, which is more views and watch time in the first hour and 24 hours and 48 hours of their channel, because they have a team to help them plan and schedule and promote and do a lot of things. They literally can be everywhere at once. If you're a solo creator, then it's really difficult to do that. So even if two YouTubers have 60,000 subscribers, their YouTube channels, even if they're in the same genre, may not be equal if it's one person versus a team of 4 people. Or let's say that you don't have a staff or in terms of a team, but let's say you're part of a group or a collective on YouTube, that you have friends that you collab with and you all have channels and you're cross-promoting. This is a huge advantage as well, because it means that you're guaranteed some pretty substantial retweets and shares and possibly some tags and some Instagram and Snapchat stories that can really help in that first hour to 24 hours to get momentum. And I'm going to definitely talk about that first hour and 24 hours because it's really important for YouTube signaling. I think you guys have heard about view velocity. I'm going to explain it when I get into the 5 things. But so don't compare your channel, because you don't necessarily know what's going on under the hood with another channel. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes with another channel. So you can't compare just because you have either similar audiences or you have the same subscriber count. So we got another super chat in here from I am Kim Graham. You are awesome. Learned so much from you. Thanks. Thank you, Kim. That's actually really sweet of you. And we got another one here. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. From Instant Info. Thank you so much. $2. That is very cool. So yeah. This is a fidget spinner, by the way, in case anyone is wondering. This, if you have ADD or ADHD, this will definitely be very amusing for you. So that's what that is. Maybe I should do a review on one of these. But yeah, there are channels that do short form content, and I still think there's a place for them in YouTube, even with watch time. Even with watch time being a fundamental thing in YouTube, and a lot of you have questions about what your ideal length of a video should be. I'm going to actually do a dedicated video to that because it definitely deserves one for an answer to that question. But the thing is, your content should be as long as you want to make it, as long as you think it needs to be, or as short as you think it needs to be to accomplish the goal that you have for it. In terms of how you deal with watch time, if your video is shorter, then you're just going to have to get more views. You're going to have to, if you want to do short form content, if you're an animator, I get it. it. It takes forever for you to make a video. Well, if you're going to do short form content, you're going to have to put massive promotion behind that in social media. If you don't want to put a lot of time into producing long form content, then you're going to have to make up the difference in time promoting and distributing in social media for the first 24-hour lifespan of that video, because there is a decay rate in YouTube pushing that video after 24 hours. It wants to see what will happen and then reevaluate it in another 24 hours, which is why that 48-hour real-time graph in your YouTube analytics is so important, and that matters. The other thing that ties into is daily uploads. Daily uploads kind of help give you a reset on that 24-hour cycle of performance and YouTube evaluating it. And based on how well a video is performing after a 48-hour cycle, YouTube is increasing or decreasing distribution to the next video uploaded in the queue after that. So channels that upload 2 a day or 3 a day or every 23 hours have a way of really taking advantage of the algorithm and taking advantage of that cycle. If those channels also have massive social media behind them to help push in that time period, they have a large following outside of YouTube, or they have a group of people that can help promote it, or they're doing some influencer marketing, then that is huge. There are people, I'm not one of them, there are people who will pay money just to get some major retweets so that they can get organic traffic from an influencer to their video. I don't do that. I take the relationships that I already have, and if people want to help me out and people want to tweet or share it in Facebook and help the channel, I super appreciate it. I do not pay money for that. I don't think it's a bad strategy though, as long as there's some type of disclosure or something, or there's some way that it's above board. The FCC has some rules on that, and also I think it'd be good for viewers to know whether something had money attached to it. Some people, they don't want to do that, and that's their business. I'm not going to judge them for it. I just would, if I do that in the future, I want it to be in some way clear that this is an influencer marketing campaign that we're doing for some reason. That's why I mostly just use the relationships I have with people and go that route personally instead of paying for things. I don't buy ads on my YouTube channel. I don't pay other influencers to shout my stuff out. But if people are going that route, I understand. They're trying to fight their way through the algorithm and stay relevant. I don't necessarily always agree with their tactics, but I'm not going to sit here in judgment of them. So money-making motivation. Okay, so this is E. Dean Cole. I hit 2K subscribers in 4 months taking your free advice. I want to get coaching. I sent you a Facebook message, email, and voicemail. Really looking forward to you. Okay, so Dean, I've been traveling, so I want to get up with you. I'm going to go back through my messages and see if I lost it somewhere. I know I've got a ton of stuff to catch up on. Travel always makes that a little bit more challenging, so I'm going to look for it. Let's work together. Looking forward to it. That's awesome. And thank you so much for the 20 bucks in Super Chat. So yeah, I think that we have to look at a couple of things here. I think we have to look at what's that life cycle. And so when we talk about watch time is the first thing. Let me just go ahead and run you through very quickly what the 5 things are, and then we'll go in depth on it. And I'm definitely going to answer some of these questions here popping up in the chat. So the 5 things that YouTube wants from you. YouTube wants 5 things from you, and they're very specific. So let's go ahead and get into that here in a moment. Let me go ahead and take a peek at my notes. All right, so what YouTube wants from you is watch time. They want longer overall sessions on YouTube itself. They don't want you clicking away from YouTube and going elsewhere. They want advertiser-friendly content. I will get into what that actually means in the real world because people are still stumped on it. They want frequent activity. They want daily activity on your YouTube channel in some way, shape, or form. This doesn't necessarily mean they need daily videos from you, but they need active content. They need active viewership. They need stuff happening on your channel each and every day. That's why keeping people coming back is important. For some people, that means daily uploads. For some people, it means social media distribution. And 5, They want and need a relationship between your videos to determine relevancy and how they tie to your other videos as well as videos from other creators so that they can do recommended and so they can figure out if you liked this and you watched this, what else would you possibly watch? Many of you have probably looked at your YouTube homepage recently and you'll probably notice this, and you can tell me in the chat if you're seeing this. You will get recommended videos that are very similar to the last 5 or 10 videos you watched recently. I think that that's been true for all of us, which means that's not just channels we subscribe to unless those are the only ones we're watching. We're getting other channels and other content recommended to us that's entirely based on maybe the last 5 or 10 things we watched. I know that's been my experience. That's been the experience when I've logged into friends' accounts on their computers, and that's what I'm seeing. So those are the 5 things that YouTube really wants from you. YouTube wants more watch time. YouTube wants people staying on YouTube longer in terms of sessions. YouTube wants advertiser-friendly content. YouTube wants frequent activity on your YouTube channel, and YouTube wants to understand the relationship between your videos, the rest of your videos, and everybody else's. So that's what YouTube is looking for. And so if you're struggling in YouTube, those are the 5 things that I suggest you pay close attention to right now. So Aaron Robinson, thank you for the $5 super chat. Aaron asks, can I promote in real life with business cards and flyers? You could. I don't think it necessarily converts well outside of an event marketing kind of thing, but you can try it, see what happens, see if that works for you. I think that going directly to social media in many cases is going to yield better results for you. The same time, effort, and money that you put into printing business cards and flyers, I think if you used that and went and put that energy or focus in either social media or buying back some of your time by getting a video edited or something, or getting your graphics or thumbnails cleaned up, I think that you'd do better there. I think you probably spend that same like $100 in doing print material against having somebody do better thumbnails for you, and it probably makes a difference. So yeah, that's my thought on that. So I'm going to answer some more of these questions, but I'm hoping that these 5 things that I outlined just now made the most sense for you guys in terms of, well, what does YouTube want? So let's go into watch time, and partly for watch time, what I'm going to do is we're going to switch screens real quick. I'm going to move to a screen cap where you can see some of my analytics. What this is going to mean is that I might be straining to see your super chat stuff. In fact, let me see if I can pop this out so that I don't have to kind of compete with myself to see it. And what I'll do is I'll just line it up to the side of my screen, and maybe that helps me out a little bit. So let me pull up my analytics for the last 30 days, and we'll transition here. All right, so what you should be seeing now is you guys should be seeing a screen that has my analytics for the last 30 days. Now, I'm down a little bit, but that's because I took a week off, especially with travel, so I actually missed 6 uploads, but missing like 6 uploads only impacted my watch time by 1.7% against last month's watch time, and it only impacted my views by about 4.5%. I could make all of that up with like 2 or 3 videos pretty easily. Likes, about 5%. Dislikes, I want to go down. Comments, that's a bigger deal because of how much interaction I get per video with comments, so that actually matters. Shares are up. Playlist videos are only down by 1%. New subscribership is only down by 11%. So for missing 6 uploads, that's actually pretty conservative. My watch time, my average view duration is up by 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So I think that is a pretty good indicator of the health of my channel, regardless of missing about a week of uploads when I normally do daily. Stefano, great to see you. Stefano just donated $5 in super chat. I met Stefano in LA. What do you think about creating and posting content on YouTube versus Facebook? It depends on what your goals are, and it depends on which algorithm you understand better and which is converting better for you. Stefano, I know you're doing business stuff. I think the social proof of YouTube is stronger. I think that YouTube generally converts better, and then YouTube has better and more robust data and analytics to make business decisions. So I prioritize YouTube, but I'm not sleeping on Facebook. In fact, over the course of this year, I plan to triple down on my Facebook strategy and push to 10,000 fans in Facebook. There, I actually am pushing really hard in LinkedIn right now, believe it or not. A lot of people don't realize that. I also am pushing really hard with my podcast right now. So it just depends on where you think you need to be and where you think your focus should be for your business. So that would be my answer. I would say both. I don't think it's an either or. I don't think it's a binary decision. So yeah, I mean, so looking at this, you can understand the importance of watch time. Let me just drill down a little bit here because it prioritizes videos by watch time. And part of my strategy, as you guys know, is I have 1,000 videos. So my content is searchable, evergreen content. It doesn't get the viral view numbers that a lot of my contemporaries with my subscriber count get. However, what it does for me is it sustains my channel authority in terms of continuing to accumulate watch time. This is a video that I did in May of 2016. I did this video a year ago, and it still is accumulating 300,000 minutes of watch time and 56,000 views per month on a regular basis. Same thing for many of my other videos. Some of these have nothing to do with YouTube, by the way. I know a lot of people think, oh, if you want to get views on YouTube, just do videos about YouTube. But a lot of my stuff is small business. I've got the drone stuff. Some of these motivational videos are actually picking up. The laptop buying guides are huge for me, and I'm going to do an updated laptop buying guide for video editing for 2017 because of the new processors and GPUs that came out and some other things that happened. So when I think about my content and I think about watch time, I'm not just making long videos for the sake of making long videos. In my case, because it's online education, long videos are favored in what I'm doing, especially if it's a 15-minute Photoshop tutorial because I'm revealing a process. If I was doing gaming, it would be very similar. Right now, I'm playing Zelda Breath of the Wild because I bought a Nintendo Switch. There's a short format that would work for that, for showing how to do something very simple, like where to locate an item specifically, could be a 5 or 6 minute video. But beating a dungeon or a shrine might be a 10 or 20 minute video, or it could be a 30-minute video that's specifically for that as a walkthrough, as a guide. And those things get massive views because they are evergreen, because if you ever play that game, you're going to possibly watch this video. They are relevant now in terms of trending because it's fairly new, not to mention it's popular and it has nostalgia. And it's also, I said evergreen, it's also trending. It's searchable because it solves a very specific problem for someone who can't beat the game right now. So that's very practical. In the same way that me doing a Photoshop tutorial, if I do a tutorial on a tool, I can make teaching you the basics of that tool 5 minutes. But if I'm teaching you a technique, that could be 15 or 20. So watch time is a combination of retention rate and views. You need both. So you need to be able to keep people engaged and watching the content, but you also need them to do that in enough numbers to stack up that watch time. You'll notice that there are videos with less views that still have high watch time. The live streams are a primary example of that. Only a few thousand of you watch the live streams, even in terms of the replays, and some of you watch them over and over again because it's long content that's worth rewatching. But with less views, I can accumulate the watch time of videos that get infinitely more views. So if you think about it from that perspective, and if I sort by views here, you can see that that's true, that something with less views can get more watch time pretty easily in a lot of cases. So that actually is important. The length of videos, it can vary. This video is 13 minutes and it accumulates a certain amount of watch time. This video is 15 minutes, it accumulates a certain amount of watch time. This one is 5. Now, the views are not a huge gap between some of these, but if you look at watch time, this one is twice the length of this one. It's got more watch time with less views. So you can see that there's a correlation here. So that's how the watch time part of this is really working. Now, where you need to focus this is the first hour and the first 24 hours on YouTube. This is a signal to YouTube to distribute this to more people. When you upload a video to YouTube, and I should talk about what happens when you upload a video to YouTube because I think that a lot of people don't know this. What happens when you upload a video to YouTube, and what I recommend all of you do, is upload your video initially as private until you've filled out all the information for your YouTube video, and I'm going to explain why here. And let me just go ahead and flip the screen back to me for a second here. All right, so with the reason that I'm saying you should ultimately upload your videos to private is because the moment that you upload a video to YouTube and it's public and it goes live, a 24-hour clock starts counting down before YouTube cuts promotion to your video to re-evaluate it. So I want you to keep that in mind. Once a video goes public, a 24-hour countdown starts for you. So keeping that in mind, that there's a 24-hour countdown that's happening in YouTube whenever you make a video public, what are you going to do with that first hour? What are you going to do with that first 24? How are you going to keep it relevant? Now keep in mind, the next 24 hours after that in the 48-hour cycle matter too, because once YouTube cuts off the bump and the fire hose, it needs to know, how is this video still performing? Because when it comes back and says, here's what you got with us pushing, here's what you got on your own, well, let's see what happened here. It's reevaluating it, and then it can go ahead and decide to distribute that further to say, this is a video that people want. This is a video that people are watching. And so let's give it to some more people. And that's why some of you have actually told me straight up that you don't see a video from me pop up in your homepage until like a day after it came out. This is also why daily videos are a great hack. Not everyone can or should do daily videos, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you're wondering why so many people have moved to daily uploads, that's why. Me, before I knew that that was happening, I went to daily uploads to get faster at editing and to get comfortable on camera so that I could, stop sucking. That was my answer. I used quantity as a hack to improve my quality. So that was my reasoning. Now, in addition to that, it turns out that the algorithm favors it. So that was a bonus for me, and it meant that I was learning more and getting more data and analytics. And now I have over 1,000 videos in inventory to look at the analytics and compare videos that are similar or videos that were even a remake of a previous video and so on and so forth. And I have all this experience. If you've ever wondered why I know so much about YouTube, 1,000 videos, making 1,000 videos, editing and producing that, plus the videos that I've done for people on other channels, plus the other videos I've done in social media, that's a lot of data to be able to sort. Doing consulting and managing other people's channels and reviewing other people's channels, that is a lot of data to be able to compare and sort and look at genres and look at different formats and look at all these things that add up. So experience matters. When you are getting discouraged because you put out 30 videos and you feel no one's watching, you've only got 30 videos worth of experience compared to people who have hundreds of videos worth of experience that you're competing for attention with, and they've learned a lot more than you. You have to commit to the fact that this is going to be a steep learning curve. I'm trying to help make it easier for you. Also, Brian G. Johnson's trying to as well with his book Tube Ritual, hashtag not sponsored, but this is a good book. You guys should definitely check it out. Tim Schmoyer's book, 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel. These things are some of the bare minimum basics to help you understand YouTube. Many of you who say you're struggling, you have not learned the dashboard. You have not looked at it the way that we were just looking at it and then comparing these videos and looking at all of this data and what it means and comparing the watch time to view ratios, going into the retention. When a lot of you go and you look at your retention, you're looking at this number that says average view duration and saying to yourself, oh, then I should make my videos 4 or 5 minutes. That's not the answer. The answer is that if you do that, you're lowering your ceiling and your videos won't get more watch time. If you see this number, I say double or triple this number, whatever it is. I also say look at your videos at those markers and look at times before and after that and try to do something very interesting or very different at that marker in your video to push that watch time, that average viewer retention up. A few years back, this number was very different for me. It was still under 3 minutes, and I've just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and moving that needle up. The average across YouTube for this number is usually around 2 minutes. That's pretty steep. So, you have to think about that. You guys need to start looking at this real-time report that YouTube puts out in analytics, and that's going to be a huge factor for you. Looking at what's going on in the last 60 minutes, understanding what content is getting watched on your channel and with frequency. I could look at these and I could decide, you know what, I need to increase some distribution here and I need to push some of this stuff more in social and get it out there if I'm looking at this real-time graph. But also keep in mind, you've got watch time that's both on the individual video and you've got the watch time for your channel. YouTube would not put the watch time number for your channel here first, left to right, top to bottom. It would not put it there first if it was not extremely important. It would not put the average view duration here first if it was not extremely important. These two things matter more to YouTube than these two things and all of these things down here at all. Most of you know by now, YouTube is not pushing the videos to your subscribers as much in that first 24-hour period. They're not. They're actually taking a small portion of your subscribers, maybe as much as 5 or 10%. If a lot of you are wondering about your view to sub ratio and why 5 to 10% of your audience is watching your videos, if they don't know to come to your channel pretty regularly, like daily, that's part of the reason. YouTube and the algorithm is roughly distributing, and you can see this for yourself. When you upload a video, YouTube is distributing that to 5 to 10% of your subscribers initially in the first 24-hour period. Not all of your subscribers are getting that push to their homepage. That's why going ahead and having people sign up for notifications is another super extremely important strategy that you need to be focused on, because getting people in your notification squad to watch in that first 24 hours, it's going to matter. It's going to matter quite a bit. And so I highly recommend that you pay very close attention to that. Also, one of the things that you need to be looking at just a little bit more heavily is what you can do to grow your audience outside of YouTube and social media to give you another place to get distribution. You need to be looking at your content strategy for evergreen content to just get more people in, because the other thing you need is longer session watch times. You need to keep people on YouTube for as long as possible, which means you have to prioritize playlist. I've talked about this time and time again. You also, maybe those videos need to be longer, or if they're shorter, they've got to be in a playlist of other binge-worthy videos. And when you're sharing in social media, share from a playlist. Don't share a video by itself, share from a playlist. Daryl Eves talked about the fact that the recommended videos are no longer guaranteed to be those 4 videos from a creator. So you can't rely on that to help you anymore. You need to be sharing from a playlist so that you know that all the other videos that are showing up are in fact your videos. That will get you longer sessions and longer watch times. So that is going to be a vital key to your future success on YouTube in terms of getting those longer sessions. So that's why you need to be thinking about your channel differently. It's not just, what camera lens do I use? Oh, how can I be more funny? It's all these other technical things, and unfortunately it means being more than just a performer in some cases. But if you don't want to do that, then maybe you hire someone, and that's where teams are coming in. It's possible to still be a solo creator. It's possible to still be a solo creator, and there's more opportunity on YouTube than there's ever been. There's more money than there's ever been. There's more people being successful than there's ever been. You can still make it as a YouTuber, and you can still make it as a YouTuber on your own. It's just that if you want to be more than just a performer or an entertainer or a creative, that's harder. But everything else, to be honest, in many ways is more straightforward than it's ever been. Making it as a solo creator is a little harder. Going viral is certainly harder, and maybe it should be. But to be honest, everything else is actually more clear, better communicated, better outlined than it's ever been. 10 years ago, you didn't have a Tim Schmoyer. 10 years ago, you didn't have a Daryl Eves. You didn't have an Amy Schmittauer. You didn't have a Brian G. Johnson, a Nick Nimmin, a Gideon Shalwick, a Jeremy Vest, or Roberto Blake, a Sonny Lenarduzzi. You didn't have people who have looked under the hood of YouTube to tell you what's going on. And YouTube certainly wasn't talking about it. In very rare cases, they don't talk about it even right now. It's very rare when they do. So I think that we have to understand that on top of that, most people didn't know what YouTube was even 5 years ago. Now, kind of hard to ignore it. So I really just believe that there's still opportunity here, and if you start focusing on these things that I talk about, you can still make it. Inner Geek Designs, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Your question is YouTube testing ads on smaller channels? I've not yet hit 10,000 views, but every now and then I see ad money come in. So Inner Geek Designs, it's possible that you might have made your channel early enough to avoid that and been grandfathered in. So it's entirely possible that that's, what's going on. Sir Spanky, there's no such thing as getting noticed on YouTube. Have a discovery strategy, not noticed. Getting noticed, you get noticed by yelling really loud, wearing obnoxious t-shirts, being zany, but what does it do for you? It doesn't do anything. Oh, you got my attention for 5 seconds, go away. That's what getting noticed does for you. Being discovered is about having a clear value that is delivered to a specific group of people, and you do that by giving them something that they are already looking for, and you do that by listening. So if you just want to put out content and be noticed, I think that that's part of the initial problem, is that you're wanting to do something for you and you want people to pay attention to you instead of asking, what is it that people want, and am I someone who can deliver on that for them? So you have to phrase that differently in your mind. No one's entitled to views, no one's entitled to subscribers. We're only relevant as long as people care about what it is we're doing or what we're talking about, or they care about us personally. And that's going to be entirely predicated on how we show up for them and how we deliver. It's not down to just the algorithm. It's not down to the YouTube gods. It's partly on us to figure out how to give someone what they're looking for and how to show up for them and how to be found, which is why you still do have to pay attention to your metadata. That last thing I want to talk about how YouTube figures out how to get you to the people who are like you. They're trying to figure that out. It's like Match.com. They're trying to say, hey, you're a viewer who likes Star Wars. How do we figure out that this person is making Star Wars content? Well, if I sit there and I do some goofball thing like some people I know who just put emojis in the description of their video, how is it going to tell anyone that watched 20 Star Wars videos to watch my theory on why the Jedi are evil? It matters. Sarah Fazio, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. How do I become part of a team? You'd have to kind of build a team. You want to be part of a team, you usually have to build one. So it means that you would have to either have people who are helping you with your channel, or you'd have to become part of a group of like-minded people creating content. So that's how you would become part of a team. You either build one to support your channel. In my case, that means hiring employees, or you become part of a group of people that collab together a lot. You see this a lot in the YouTube gaming community. You see this among some vloggers based on being local vloggers to an area. And you also see this with some of the skit channels. And there are other genres of YouTube where this is popular, but I think gaming is very similar and is probably where you'll see the most prevalent groups of people working together, because they're used to this, because gamers had what you would call guilds or clans already in the gaming community, so they're already used to working collaboratively to grow, and that's probably why some of the most successful YouTubers are gamers, and you'll notice that a lot of them team up and a lot of them know each other very well. So whether there's a formal relationship there or not, they are essentially part of a crew working together. So, that's real. You'll also see that a lot of the San Diego and San Francisco, a lot of the LA YouTubers all hang out and they all know each other. That's why so many YouTubers, after they get their first 100,000, think that they need to move out to the West Coast, because they think that that's what's going to grow them. I think that you should live where you can afford to live, ideally with the tax situation that you want, and where you'll hang out with and meet the people that you want to have relationships with, and where you might want to live for the next decade. I think moving somewhere specifically for the sake of YouTube collabs is somewhat misguided, but no judgment. That's my opinion. I don't think it's fiscally responsible. Justin Doe, how to have chats be on your broadcast screen. I am using Wirecast. I'm using Wirecast Studio. I paid $500 for that software, but you can use a free software called OBS. You could also use XSplit, which I think is like $15 or $100 or something like that. So I am fancy, and I throw money at problems to save time. Not everyone can do that. Some people have to throw time at learning complicated software to save money, and I used to be one of those people. So, that's my answer. So, let's move on to the interesting part, because I talked about watch time, I talked about longer sessions, and why those things are so very important. I want to move on to advertiser-friendly, and what does that mean? What does that look like for the future? So let's go ahead and do that here. We're about 42 minutes in, trying to keep this light, trying to still answer questions, but let's go ahead and talk about advertising. So with the advertiser-friendly thing, we have to, of course, address the current YouTube ad boycott, as well as the changes to YouTube's terms of service, and the fact that YouTube is actually enforcing their community guidelines much more strictly than they've ever been. What I have to say about that is I'm coming at this from a couple of sides. I'm a creative entrepreneur outside of YouTube as well. I plan to buy YouTube ads, not really for this channel, but to buy YouTube ads, and I may actually host the videos on one of my other channels for reasons. Because one thing I'll say is, by the way, if you're a YouTuber, don't try to augment your YouTube videos by buying advertising on your main channel, because when YouTube sees that you have money to spend, it can hurt your organic reach, similar to Facebook. Facebook's not as bad in that. You can still get organic reach after doing pay-to-play in Facebook. Do not pay-to-play in YouTube. It will really hurt your channel. That's not just coming from me. Daryl Eves actually was saying that in his latest talk about YouTube and about the algorithm. So I really would pay attention to that. And Daryl is someone who would know, not only from the YouTube side, but Daryl works with some big brands on viral advertising campaigns and huge ad spends. So if Daryl is saying that ad spending hurts organic reach on YouTube, I would listen to him, because he would know, because he's playing it from both sides, not unlike myself. I just am not going to buy the ads against that on this channel. I did that for something with one of my speaking engagements for my speaker reel on this channel before. It didn't hurt too bad, but I didn't spend a ton of money on that. But in the future, I'm going to use a separate YouTube channel to do advertisements for my business, so that it doesn't hurt this account overall. So that's my strategy there. Now, that being said, what I believe is you can look at the AdWords dashboard, which I think more YouTubers should. The reason I'm not going to show you AdWords here is I'm still reading through the pages of legal jargon to see what is allowed to be disclosed there, because there's financial stuff that isn't allowed to be disclosed there, and it's weird. It's convoluted. Like, when YouTubers say they can't show you something, they're not lying to you or being dishonest. They're doing their best interpretation of these $50 legal terms that are frankly over most of their heads. And I say that respectfully. There's some of it that's over my head too. So just please be respectful when people say, oh, I'm not going to show you something, or oh, I can't disclose something. It's that they're playing the better safe than sorry card because they don't know. They don't know. Most people have not taken a business law class in college as an elective or any primers on business, and even if they have, that doesn't necessarily qualify them to understand a lot of the things that they're reading. So I would say that, you know, just be respectful of that and understand that it's really hard to understand what they're saying here because they are purposefully vague. Most of you have already said that about the YouTube advertiser-friendly guidelines, about how purposely vague they are, and I agree. I agree that they are very vague on the community guidelines, on the advertiser guidelines, as to what is and is not allowed. And that is just so frustrating on so many levels because there's things that we can't fully know. We can take our best guess and be completely wrong, and it feels very unfair. I've said that. I think other people have definitely been very much more vocal about it than me, and looking at it, I'm like, yeah, even for advertisers, I think that it's not clear to them what's allowed sometimes, and I think those are things that need to change. And so, with looking at this advertiser-friendly stuff, what it says, and like, let me actually reference. Let me actually try to bring up the YouTube community guidelines. Hang on. Let's read this on screen together. All right, so I'm going to switch over the screen here, and we're going to look at the YouTube community guidelines here together. All right, so YouTube community guidelines. A few ground rules to keep YouTube safe and fun for everybody. Okay, let's take a look. Respect the YouTube community. We're not asking for the kind of respect reserved for nuns, the elderly, and brain surgeons. Just don't abuse the site. Every cool new community feature on YouTube involves a certain level of trust. We trust you to be responsible, and millions of users respect that trust. Please be one of them. Okay, that's fair. Don't cross the line. So this is the main stuff. Nudity and sexual content, harmful and dangerous content, violent or graphic content, copyright, hateful content, threats, spam, misleading, metadata, and scams. This one, I'm pretty solid on what that means, and I think all of us are. Spam, misleading, metadata, and scams. That means no keyword stuffing, no spam, and no scams. It's kind of straightforward. Threats? Threats is pretty straightforward as well. Saying that you're going to do somebody bodily harm. Making a threat on a public figure. Doxing people. Those things, that's kind of plain and simple, so I don't think that that's vague. Copyright is interesting to me because prior to YouTube, I was a graphic designer, photographer. I still do those things. I'm a freelance writer, videographer, dabbling a little bit in the independent film world. And so my stance on fair use is probably different than many of you watching this right now because I have previous experience outside the context of YouTube with copyright and fair use and people actually stealing my work, legitimately stealing my work and profiting from it. I have experience with that in the real world. I have corporate experience with that as well, and I've experience with stock photo and stock image sites and the copyright claim stuff there and how convoluted that is. I think a lot of the photographers in YouTube kind of have the same stance as me, is that copyright and fair use does not typically mean what YouTubers think copyright and fair use means. And I think that YouTube itself should probably bring their legal counsel on make some actual helpful videos from the legal counsel of Google and YouTube explaining in no uncertain terms what those things mean for people, so that it's out there, people are well informed, and it's on the table, and we don't have to think about it anymore. Because I think that that is the best way to communicate things to YouTubers, is every single one of these things probably should have a YouTube video or a series of 3 videos associated with it, making it plain and clear. Because if you're going to talk to YouTubers, why not talk to them in the language of YouTube? Why not just make a YouTube video attached to each of these things to explain it, so that it's not as vague? Because that, I think, will translate better. But kudos to them, because the graphics on this are pretty sweet. Violent or graphic content. This one is a little weird, because what if you're reviewing a violent movie and there's a scene that actually constitutes fair use that you're including in there? Or what if you're playing a video game that has violence attached to it? The Grand Theft Auto community, the first-person shooter community. Is that allowed, or are they just letting that squeak by, and then is it going to have the kibosh put on it later with no warning? So I think that that can be very problematic. I know some people don't like that word, but it's the best word to use in this particular thing. So I think that it's really difficult. It's not okay to post violent or gory content that's primarily intended to be shocking. What if you're reviewing Army of Darkness? Or what if you're reviewing, Ash versus the Evil Dead? I mean, that is going to be gory and violent, and it's going to be shocking in nature. What if you're playing, Five Nights at Freddy's? That by itself is, what if you're playing any jump scare video game? So, does that count? Because it fits this description. We need to know. If posting graphic content in a news or documentary context, please be mindful to provide enough information to help people understand what's going on in the video. Don't encourage others to commit specific acts of violence. That last one is really clear, and I appreciate that. But the sentence before it, if it's news or documentary in context, be mindful and provide enough information. What constitutes enough information? Even if we click more, I don't think it's going to give us an actual example of some of these things. It does go deeper here. Let's read this for a quick second. Real depictions of graphic or violent content. Increasingly, YouTube is becoming an outlet for citizen journalists, documentaries, and others to publish accounts of what is happening in their daily lives. It is inevitable that some of these videos will contain content that is violent or graphic in nature. If the violence shown in your video is particularly graphic, please make sure to post as much information as possible in the title and metadata to help viewers understand what they are seeing. Providing documentary or educational context can help the viewer and other reviewers understand why they may be seeing the disturbing content. Okay, if that's fair. It's not okay to post violent or gory content that is primarily intended to be shot. It's just it's a rehash of what they said earlier. Alright, they're saying, for instance, a citizen journalist who captures footage of protesters being beaten and uploads it will, with relevant information, date, location, context, etc., would likely be allowed. However, posting the same footage without contextual or educational information may be considered gratuitous and may be removed from the site. Well, what's this likely be allowed? If it is what you say it is, then it should be allowed. What's this likely? See what I mean about being vague? And that's a maybe. That's a gray area. And then you're saying it may be removed. Will it or won't it? We need some clear, definitive information here. Content related to terrorism, that's pretty straightforward. Dramatized depictions of graphic or violent content. Some people post videos that contain dramatized depictions of violence. Much like movies and TV, graphic or disturbing content that may contain a level of violence or gore is not suitable for minors and will be age restricted. Well, based on what? To what extent? We need examples. We need clarity. We need context. So, what is advertiser-friendly? Advertiser-friendly doesn't necessarily mean you have to become a Disney YouTuber. I know that everyone who says that is being tongue-in-cheek. I get it. I'm not calling them out on that. But they're kind of being tongue-in-cheek and kind of being half-serious. Because I think that's what some people actually believe. I think some people believe that you have to be a family vlogger, or I think some people think you have to be a Disney reviewer or whatever to be advertiser friendly, and that's not true. Yoga and fitness YouTubers, they're doing fine. Lifestyle vloggers, they're doing fine. Most television show reviewers, most anime reviewers, they're doing just fine. The Star Wars and Dragon Ball Z communities, they're doing just fine. So it's not what people are saying it is, where it's like, oh, YouTube wants to push this off the site or that off the site. No, advertisers are awake for the first time in forever, and by that I mean the heads that make the decisions are actually now paying attention to what middle management is doing, instead of just patting them on the back for getting their numbers and then going back to sipping cocktails. Remember, I worked in corporate America in this exact same job. I'm not kidding about this. It used to be that if you got your numbers, no one cared how you got your numbers, which means that your CEO doesn't know who PewDiePie is. The marketing team knows that he's getting you the numbers. Your supervisor doesn't give a crap because the boss doesn't watch YouTube, but boss reads New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Wired, or whatever, or the boss's homies do. He gets a text. He goes, what the heck is this? What's a PewDiePie? Watches this, and then you have to worry about your job. You have to worry about being fired. You're getting raked over the coals. And what do if you want to keep your job? You turn off the fire hose, you lock down, and you get as safe as possible. That is what you do if you want to keep your corporate America job as an ad buyer, a media buyer, a marketer, working for a corporate America company. And if that is who you were rather than a YouTuber, you know that that's exactly what you would do if your boss drops the hammer. And so I'm not mad at people for that. It's just unfortunate that it's gotten to that thing, and I think that it's an overreach or overreaction, but it was something that was predictable. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did predict it. But, that aside, what we'll have to look at here is that you should be able to make whatever content you want. And when you started YouTube with 0 subscribers, you were doing just that. However, once you start making money, there is an impetus to want to make more money doing something that you love, especially if you left a traditional form of employment to be able to do that full time. You don't want to have to reverse that. With that in mind, the advertisers have made what they want and what they don't want pretty clear for the most part here, and you have to adapt to that and figure it out because they're writing the checks. I've already done a video with alternatives to YouTube AdSense so that you still have the freedom to make content on your own terms. I don't think advertisers should dictate your content, but I don't think that you should get to take their money and do something that's not in their interest or what they are stating their interest to be, or something that puts them in a compromising position. So I think it's both parties, and I'll tell you what, you can actually block advertisers you don't like. Some of you are seeing, I think it's this game called Hook, advertising your channel, and some of you don't like that for your viewers, and your viewers are complaining. You can actually go into your Google AdSense account and shut them out. I've actually blocked some advertisers from reaching my audience. I've turned down their money in order to actually keep them away from my audience. And you have that power too. This cuts both ways. Advertisers can decide to block channels. Channels can decide to block advertisers. And in some cases, it's in your best interest to do that. So I would just kind of keep that in mind, that you have more power than you think as a creator. And you also have other revenue streams. I did a whole video about this. You can get sponsors. You can do merch. You can do Patreon. You can do Super Chat. Speaking of which, Trenton Marshall, thank you for another $2. Trenton Marshall says, I'm doing Amazon links, getting clicks, but no sales. It can take a while. Sometimes it depends on what your content is, depends on what you're talking about, and it just depends on whether your audience has the money to buy right away. So that matters. Amazon has a 24-hour cookie. If they don't buy in 24 hours, you don't get the sale. So that could be part of it. Maybe it's taking them longer to make up their mind. I think I made like my first month on Amazon, I think I made $12. My second month I made $500, and within 3 months I figured out how to do over $1,000. It takes time. There are some great books and websites out there that talk about it. Amazon recently changed their affiliate marketing deal and the percentages. It's no longer pay per performance. That sucks, but there are other affiliate marketing programs out there too. Amazon's one of the best ones across the board generally for YouTubers of all genres. So, I mean, we can figure this out. But YouTube wants advertiser-friendly content because YouTube still needs to make money. They need to buy the servers. They need to keep the lights on. A lot of people have talked trash about what if the top 1,000 YouTubers went and started their own website. It'd be impossible because what most people fail to realize is how expensive web hosting is. I did some math, and based on some rough calculations, I determined that to support PewDiePie's audience alone for the amount of traffic he gets from a bandwidth and server standpoint, and also to host all of his content with mirroring and with load balancing, it would cost over $500,000 in hardware just to support PewDiePie's content independently per month. $500,000 per month just to deal with delivering and keeping PewDiePie's videos up and delivering them in HD to people across the world for the traffic he gets. It'd be $500,000 a month to do that and by itself, and that's one creator. You take the top 1,000 in an age where return on investment and advertiser boycotts and things happening, there's not a startup with the cash flow, with the investors as fiscally conservative as those people are, to start a rival website to YouTube that can truly support creators financially and not have hardware problems and bugs. And that's just one aspect of it. That's just the hosting. You're not talking about an engineering team. You're not talking about the infrastructure. You're not talking about any other part of this yet. It's too big. It's too expensive. It's too convoluted. That's why the only companies that could ever hope to truly compete with YouTube are Facebook, Amazon/Twitch, and maybe, just maybe, nah, it's got to be Amazon and Facebook. At the end of the day, it's got to be Amazon and Facebook. They're the only ones with enough of an advertiser network. They're the only ones with the cash to burn, and they're the only ones with the top engineers. Theoretically, Apple, but they won't ever do that. So, I mean, there's no point in talking about it. So yeah, there's no company that can actually directly compete with YouTube except for the ones that I named. Other people will try, and they will go the way of Vidler, and that's what'll happen. So, the baby's booty, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thanks for sharing with us. I've shown some revenue under $50 on my YouTube channel for the past 2 months. When do they pay? Once you've cleared $100 cumulatively, they pay either via direct deposit to the account that you've listed on file or a check to the address that you've listed on file 30 days after you've hit the threshold, usually around the 22nd through 25th. So that's when you can expect YouTube to pay out. So yeah, so that's my thoughts on advertiser friendly. I think that as long as you approach your content practically, that you don't have to worry about advertiser friendly, I would say just stay within those guidelines for the most part. It's harder if you're a news channel. I get it. If you're a news channel, I think you need a new business model at this point. I think a podcast is practical. I think using a few other platforms. I think doing live videos with super chat is an answer. So that's what I would say. Clover Tack, $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Clover. Creators should not discount potential local sponsors and affiliates. Couldn't agree more. Just a few referral walk-ins to a local business is huge, unlike a few sent to Amazon. No, I couldn't agree more. If you have other local affiliate deals or other affiliate deals, a primary example will be in a couple of months, when I release my 2 courses, when I release my course on personal branding and when I release my course on YouTube development. These courses are a few $100, and I'm giving all of you the ability to be 30% affiliates. What that means is the launch price of the courses is looking like it'll be like $350 or something. So guess what? That means that you probably make $100 every time you sell a course of mine. It's easier to make an affiliate sale for one person's high-level info product or course. You make $100 faster than making YouTube videos with that. You a web hosting affiliate, you make $60, $75 a web hosting sale. You'll make $100, $150 faster doing affiliate marketing on other things than Amazon than you will doing Amazon affiliate or trying to do YouTube ads really quickly. So I recommend that a lot of you look into affiliate deals, and I recommend looking at referral business and affiliate deals locally, like Clover Tack said, including sponsorships as well. I think it's faster to make money doing affiliates and sponsorship than it is doing merch and doing AdSense. I believe that 110%. That's been my experience. So yeah, thanks for that, Clover. So yeah, that's the advertiser-friendly stuff. Frequent activity, daily activity on your YouTube channel. Frequent activity and daily activity doesn't mean daily uploads, although that is the practical answer for most people. Um, so that's a thing. Oh, also, I want Boo Road said something interesting. That's why people need to think about how much net neutrality laws cost. I used to work for an ISP. People don't think about what it cost the host. Yeah, absolutely. I used to work in web hosting, so yeah, the infrastructure cost, the bandwidth, the service fees, the engineering team, the system administrators, the technicians. It costs so much money, it's ridiculous. But I think we need a free and fair internet. I think net neutrality is important, and I think even if that cost burden goes to the consumers in pricing, it's worth it. I'll pay it. I don't care. I need net neutrality. I need a free and fair open internet. I need internet to be considered a utility. But that's me. And if it's not, my business will still survive. Real talk. But frequency of activity on YouTube. Your daily activity on YouTube is not just down to your uploads. Daryl Eve said that if you only upload 2 or 3 times a week, that on the days that you don't upload, you should consider generating a new playlist and populating it with videos that all are related to each other. And I couldn't agree more. A lot of you see me doing this. I don't recommend you make a new playlist every time you upload a video, but I think you should look at on your off days when you're not uploading, you should be triggering some new content ID on your YouTube channel, or also you should be driving new traffic to your YouTube channel. You don't just promote your YouTube channel on the days that you upload a video. You promote your YouTube channel as much as possible. If you're me, you put systems in place to promote your YouTube channel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're me, you make evergreen content so that there's always content on your YouTube channel to be viewed, to be searched, to be watched, to be commented on, to be liked, to be favorited, because YouTube is not only looking at your watch time and how long you're keeping people on the site, it's looking at how much activity is happening on your YouTube channel every single day and whether you're bringing people back. So it decides your channel authority and your relevancy based on that. I'm going to show you guys something interesting that I don't think many of you have ever seen before, because most people don't, like, truth be told, and this isn't a criticism, most people don't know how to use YouTube. It's just the truth, though. And proof is in the pudding, because most of you have not seen this screen before that I'm about to show you. This is a YouTube search, but above this YouTube search are special filters. Now I've typed in graphic design because I know that 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, 4 out of the initial whatever amount of videos are mine because I did really good optimization. And that's when we sort by relevancy. But if we sort by view count, here's something interesting that happens. My channel is recommended because I've gotten a ton of views around those type of videos. My friend Karen Cabot, she's there. My friend Tasty Toots, my friend Christo from the future. These are, Chris Spooner, Spoon Graphics, great guy. So you'll notice that there are individual videos being recommended, but there are also channels being recommended for this. And so that's based on our filter being turned from relevance to view count instantaneously. And so you can see that even my friend Sean Barry is here. So that changes the result. But that shows you that YouTube values relevance, but also it does care about views in a way because that leads to watch time, but also cares about something we call sentiment, which is if we go by ratings, what are some of the best rated, YouTube videos? And what you'll see is that I have a video that doesn't even have 5,000 views that must have had overwhelmingly positive ratings, and you have these smaller videos that have overwhelming positive ratings. So that means that these are videos that got more thumbs up than thumbs down. That's if we sort that way, but that's a filter. So this is helping you understand some of the triggers. Upload date. Something very recent. You'll notice that, here are videos just uploaded in the last hour. Here's someone stealing one of my videos again that I'm going to have to flag and get their video taken down. Hopefully the whole channel because he re-uploaded a thing of mine. I re-uploaded another thing of mine. So you can see videos that have been uploaded in the last hour have some kind of priority attached to them, and that's important. But also, it would be in the last day if we typed in something else. So that's important too, is the upload time. How relevant is it? Relevancy is a matter of titles, descriptions, and tags. We typed in graphic design. You'll notice a recurring theme in titles, descriptions, and tags, how often graphic design is mentioned in these things. So, when you guys are saying titles, descriptions, and tags don't matter, proof positive that they do, more than view count, more than subscriber count, because there are videos here that have less subscribers behind them, less views behind them, that rank differently. So we know that relevancy is considered by Google and YouTube to be something other than how many views it got. So that matters. Features. These features determine whether or not Google prioritizes a video as well. If it's shot in 4K, gets a bump. HD gets a bump. Subtitles. Creative Commons, 3D, Live, 360, videos for sale. Those things matter. YouTube says that short form content is anything under 4 minutes. Long form content is anything over 20. That's how YouTube defines it. It used to say long, it used to say short, medium, and long. It used to have something here that used to say that 10 minutes was medium, believe it or not, and it used to consider short 5 or less. But they changed that in the last couple of months. This type actually is really important because it tells you the aspects of YouTube. YouTube identifies videos, channels, playlist, shows, and movies. So thinking about all of these things for your content. What have you done to optimize individual videos? What have you done to optimize the channel as a whole, and what's going on with the channel as a whole? What's going on with your playlist strategy? Do you have anything that's a show? And do you have anything that is a movie or a feature of some kind? And then these upload times, look at that. Last hour, past day, past week, this month, this year. These hidden triggers tell you what YouTube and the algorithm pay attention to, just like the analytics dashboard also tells you what they're looking for and what they pay attention to. They are not keeping this stuff a secret, guys. They might be keeping the finer details of it to themselves, but ultimately, they've given us a lot of information to make educated assumptions and executions off of and what matters to them. So if you've been wondering, what does YouTube want from you? They've spelled it out very clearly if you know where to look and if you're paying attention instead of complaining. So those things matter. Now, YouTube obviously cares about the relationship between videos based on what you watched. Now, my YouTube recommendations are going to be weird because I've been doing a bunch of research on different things. Plus, I had to entertain myself on the flight. But, you know, this shows what, like, things that YouTube thinks I care about. And it's pretty accurate. I care about Star Wars and Marvel and DC and Rick and Morty and how to make better videos. And I do have Breath of the Wild now, and I've been playing that a lot. So it understands those things about me. So that actually is fairly accurate and a good representation of what it is that I've been recently watching. So YouTube is looking for that fifth thing. It's looking for the relationship between videos, which means that it cares about your titles, descriptions, and tags because it wants to figure out, how do I serve this video as a recommended to people based on what else they watched? Based on what else they watched. User behavior. And this one's important because pretty soon, YouTube won't know what the algorithm is doing any better than we will. Because YouTube is shifting to artificial intelligence and machine learning. YouTube is shifting to artificial intelligence and machine learning, my friends. And with YouTube shifting to artificial intelligence and machine learning, what that means for you and me is that YouTube will come down to user behavior. It will come down to the way people are using the site day in and day out, not a set of rules, not a set of parameters that YouTube outlined for itself. It will come down to the way people watch more than anything. This will be good, this will be bad, it will be pretty for some, it will be ugly for others, and I'm going to figure out how to just take as much advantage of it as I possibly can for as long as I possibly can, and if it doesn't work out, well, it's a good thing I built all those other businesses. The answer there is you have to pay attention to what your community is doing. You have to build a culture around your community, and you have to do everything you can to optimize your videos and give it as much information, give it as much metadata as it can accurately so that YouTube can say, your video matches these other videos. Let's promote it against those and see what happens because people would like that. And so that is what you need to do. And when you ignore your descriptions and tags and when you do clickbait, you're not helping yourself because even if you get a bunch of people to watch, YouTube doesn't know enough information about who the other people who will watch are. So just wanting your subscribers to get your videos, that's not the answer. If YouTube just focused on pushing your videos to your subscribers, your view to sub ratio would look really good. And then your sub ratio would never grow probably. So that is the issue here. That is the issue. So I think that if you look at your community and you try to get them more involved with your content in the first hour to 24 hours, push that watch time. That's number one. Get longer viewing sessions. Have a playlist strategy. Possibly consider making longer content or making binge-worthy playlists that can help you keep longer session times on YouTube. Think about when it's time, what videos should push people out to like an affiliate link so you can make money, but also make enough content that keeps people on YouTube, because when you link people away from YouTube, it does hurt your channel, but you know what? Having your channel do really well, only for your wallet and your pockets to be light, isn't the right answer either. So find a balance between what helps your YouTube channel and what helps your financial situation if you're not relying on ads, which you should not be. As far as advertiser-friendly, use as much common sense as possible. Do not be defensive about it. Think about if your grandma was running a business, is this content okay for grandma? Like, real talk, that's probably the best measuring stick you're going to come up with because of how vague certain things are. It's probably the answer. Frequency of activity. You got to get people daily on your channel, interacting in some way, and you got to have some activity on your channel. If you didn't do an upload, make a new playlist and dump 5 or 10 videos into that playlist. Write a description for that playlist, make it accurate, and share content out from that playlist. And be sharing content old and new every single day. Every single day. I'm also going to give you guys a quick hack. Go into your YouTube end cards and update your YouTube end cards to make the latest upload one of your end cards. The reason being is it means that every video that you have, especially their top 10 best performing videos right now, if they have latest upload, then that means that your newest video, when it's uploaded, will have all of your current best performing videos helping push more people who watch to the end of that video to your latest video, which means you get your view velocity for the first hour and first 24 hours, that bump that you need. So try and make sure that as many of your videos as possible have an end card on them that pushes people to your latest video. It can help. It can help dramatically. It can be a huge increase for your channel, so it's probably one of my ultimate hacks. I will do a dedicated video to this when I talk more about end cards. So that matters. The relationship between videos. SEO matters. If you're struggling with your YouTube SEO, if you're struggling with relating videos, if you're struggling with anything related to search engine optimization, titles, description, and tags, please go download TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy.com/awesome. TubeBuddy.com/awesome. That is my affiliate link. They're not sponsoring the live stream. I wish they were today because money matters to all of us. And so get that tool because it'll help you with productivity. And if you need to update your info cards, it has bulk editing features. I could edit 100 of my end cards or info cards automated and be done with it. I can schedule my videos to be private and then go public so that I don't get hurt by that 24-hour countdown in the beginning, that 24-hour decay rate after YouTube promotes it. So all of those things matter. Do not upload videos as unlisted. So again, that's TubeBuddy.com/awesome. I'm going to drop it here for you. And just go grab that. It's going to help. It is my secret weapon. Now, we've covered the 5 things that I wanted to talk about. Watch time, longer sessions, advertiser-friendly, frequency of activity daily on your channel, and the relationship between your videos and everyone else's based on user behavior. These are the 5 things that YouTube really cares about right now. I could get deeper into it and I could make that list longer, but if you pay attention to these 5 things, you have a shot. You have a real shot. So that is what I've come up with. That is my answer for you guys in terms of what does YouTube want. This is what we know. This is what makes sense. And this isn't just me. This is stuff that I learned talking to some of the biggest creators on the platform, what they're struggling with, what they're seeing. This is me talking to my contemporaries in the YouTube marketing space, people like Tim and Daryl and Amy and Summy and Nick and Brian, everybody. So that's what we came up with. So with that in mind, I'm going to jump into Q&A real quick. We're going to keep this one a little shorter. This won't be a typical long live stream. I've still got work to catch up on from being away for so long on travel. Plus, I need to eat something. I keep forgetting that I need to do that. Human beings need to eat to live. I didn't get the memo. So let's jump into some quick Q&A. Does TubeBuddy help with Google as well? If you wanted to apply it in that direction, you could. I prefer TubeBuddy to vidIQ. vidIQ had a glitch recently. I also stopped doing the paid version of vidIQ. It wasn't really doing anything too much for me that TubeBuddy couldn't already do. The scoring was interesting, but I think that TubeBuddy will get the scoring feature eventually. So that matters. Kit Slam Art says, Roberto, should I go through all of my old annotation end streams and replace them with end cards, even if it looks a bit awkward? I would take it on a case-by-case basis. That's what I would say about that. Any tips for titles of daily vlogs? Make the title interesting, and if you can't make a title search engine friendly, then make the first 3 lines of the description very search engine friendly. That's Baby's Booty. How does the use of affiliate marketing work? I've been curious about that. Reference my videos on affiliate marketing. I've got a ton of them here on the channel, and they can definitely help you. Roberto, can you talk playlist strategy? Will a playlist compiled of your videos and related videos from other channels be of benefit at all? Yes. 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 1,000 times. Yes. But lead with one of your videos as the first video in the playlist or the video that you're sharing out. So that your channel is credited with the session time. Trenton Marshall, do I have a list of events I'll be attending? Not, like, I kind of do and I kind of don't. I kind of put that stuff over on my Facebook page, facebook.com/RobertoBlake2. But, as best as I can remember, it's going to be Creative Pro Week where I'm speaking, MomoCon where I'm giving a presentation on photography and model relationships, and then I'm at VidCon. I'm also right after VidCon going to be at like a social media day kind of thing in Florida, and then I don't know if I'm doing anything in July. In July I'm probably settling into my new house. Then I think I've got CVX Live, where I'll be speaking, doing 2 sessions. Theoretically, I'm going to be doing Adobe Max. Actually, not theoretically. I'm doing Adobe Max. Scratch that. I'm doing Adobe Max. What else am I doing? I'll also be at Vid Summit, which is Daryl Eves' event, which is huge. It's a YouTube business community. That's going to be amazing. I think that that's most of my events aside from my virtual events. At least those are the ones that I can think of right now. That's what I anticipate. So that's still a lot, and most of it is me speaking. And there will be obviously a couple of virtual conferences that I'll be at. I'll also be at Dragon Con as an attendee, doing photos and videos, doing my own stuff. So I'll be at Dragon Con. I love that. I'll probably be at Anime Weekend Atlanta. So that's where I'll be. What's the best length for a video? Best length for a video is as long as it needs to be and not a minute longer. So that's the real answer. That's just the truth. But if you want a hard number, short form is 4 minutes, long form is 20, split the difference, it's 12. And then if you go and you look at most of the daily vloggers and you look at some of Casey Neistat's best stuff with the most views, you'll notice it's weirdly close to 12 minutes. So, yep. So, that's what I would say about that. What's the best category for starting off a YouTube channel? The best category, Kareem, for starting off a YouTube channel is crap you actually are interested in talking about for an hour and 30 minutes. So don't worry about being popular on YouTube. Don't worry about being noticed. Here's the thing. I'm tired of people trying to worry about being noticed on YouTube. Do your thing, optimize it, work hard, study it, and if you get attention, great. If 20 people watch, great. Because I guarantee you, most of the people worried about that, most of the people with 100 subscribers, if they had to go perform in the middle of Times Square, would freeze up. If many of you had to go to some of these conferences and speak in front of a room of 80 people, you'd freeze up. But you're going to cry about 80 views on a video. I mean, and that sounds harsh. I know that sounds mean, but I'm like, but for real. For real, that like you should not be judging your self-worth, the value of your work, the value of your videos, the value of anything you do based on how much attention you were able to garner in a social media platform. Okay? Kareem Irving from Philly. But I want to get big fast. You know what? I want to make $1 million fast. So what? That doesn't mean that anyone in the market is obligated. That doesn't mean 1 million people are obligated to give me $1. That doesn't mean 100,000 people are obligated to give me $10 if I want $1 million fast. What I want is irrelevant. My ability to deliver what other people want is what matters. If I deliver what other people want by doing what I love, then, and whatever I extrapolate from that, that's the answer. So stop trying to worry about why are you worried about getting big fast? What? So people can say you're a big YouTuber, so people can say you're cool? That doesn't mean anything. This silver play button here on the wall, this doesn't mean crap. This doesn't mean crap. If I had a silver play button but I couldn't pay rent, it doesn't mean anything. If I had a silver play button but I was still suffering from severe depression and anxiety, it doesn't mean crap. Stop thinking this means something, because it really doesn't. What it means is, it means that you figured out some cool things, you did what you loved, hopefully, ideally, what YouTube is and what YouTube should be. This is a rant now. You done made me rant. Why'd you do that? It's Sunday. I didn't want to rant on a Sunday. But no, what YouTube is it's called YouTube. It's a place to broadcast yourself. So guess what? If you are a Star Wars nerd, like I am, and like you meet 60 other Star Wars nerds that show up every week that you want to talk about stuff, you've won. It's amazing. That's great, because the odds are in your real life, it's very difficult unless you go to a convention to get 60 people in a room that care about the exact same thing that you care about. For many people, YouTube is where they met their best friends, their relationships. Some of them met their husbands and wives here because there's a place where you have permission to be yourself, and on top of having permission to be yourself, you have the ability to share yourself with the entire world, and if out of the 7 billion people out there, just enough of them give a crap, you can make a living just being yourself. Which is why I don't love it when people decide that they need to make up a persona or be fake or do this or do that because, well, that will get the views and that will get the likes and that will be the popularity thing and everything like that. It's like, because then you have to live with it. And then you have to live with the fact that your success was not built on, was not predicated on you being yourself. It's why when some of you happen to meet me in the real world, it's when some of you happen to hire me in the real world, and we engage, you end up finding and telling me how consistent I am between YouTube and the real world, and that, wow, you're real and it's not an act. Of course it's not. Because if I could sustain being an actor 1,000 videos and being fake for 1,000 videos, give me my bloody Oscar already. Okay? So that's why I don't believe in that. That's why I just show up, I do me, I don't have a script. The most I have is these like notes that I wrote down, like, which is literally 5 bullet points so that I don't ramble or rant like this. And that's it. do you figure out what you like doing, figure out what you like doing enough that if nobody watched it, you'd still make the videos. And you know what happens? If you're Swoozy, after 5 years of making videos and only having 5,000 subscribers, eventually you get to 4 million if you're Swoozy. If you're MKBHD, you make 100 videos to get to 78 subscribers, and then you hold out a few years, and by the time you graduate, you have 4 million subscribers and are one of the biggest tech YouTubers in the world. So, that's the answer. You work on stuff and you see what happens. And if you, yeah, I am hangry. I'm hungry, and you got me raging. You got me. So yeah, that's the deal. That's the deal. If I didn't like doing online education stuff, and I need that, I need to be able to talk about things, I need to be able to work things out in my head, and obviously I need to be messing with this fidget spinner, I'm obsessed with it. Like, if I didn't do that, I'd probably be talking about Game of Thrones and Star Wars. That's probably what I'd be talking about. Or I would be very on the tech side of things beyond what I already am, or I'd be very much on the camera side, aside from, like, what I already am. I'd probably be focused on video editing and video production tutorials if I wasn't doing what I currently do, which I still am planning to do more of that because I'm like heavily much more into it now, especially since I'm training corporate companies on it. So, you do what you like. I worked as a graphic designer, so I made graphic design videos. I like gadgets and tech and things, and so I reviewed them. I use Adobe software, so I made tutorials for people like me to make it uncomplicated the way I wish it had been uncomplicated for me so long ago, before we had YouTube, because I started my career before YouTube existed. So it would have been nice to have these video tutorials, but we didn't have a modern internet. We had dial-up, 56K modems. So, that didn't think. When I was starting YouTube, Tim Schmoyer and Daryl Eves hadn't really gotten momentum and hadn't gotten going yet. I didn't know, that they existed. They didn't know I existed. So there weren't as many people talking about YouTube. And so I just documented my progress right around, I think 20,000 subscribers. I started documenting what I was doing, or something like that, 5 or 10 or 20, something around there. I started documenting my process, just like I've done with everything else. I document what I'm doing. I tell you guys about it. I spitball ideas, and then we see what happens. And what's happened is it keeps going and going and going and going, and that's great. And so now I know that I have a practical formula for how to get 100,000 subscribers, how to get 10,000, how to get 1,000, how to get 100. I know pretty straightforward what it's going to take to do those things. And now I'm figuring out the formula and thesis for what does it really take to get 1 million subscribers, and do you need that, and does that work and everything. So, it's about figuring things out. This entire channel has been a 4-year-long documentation of me doing experiments in real time. That's it. It's been 4 years of documenting, creating, experimenting, analyzing, and having the conversation. It's been 4 years of doing that come July of 2017. Yeah, I've had the account longer. Everyone will say, no, you started in 2009, you liar, blah, blah, blah. No, I started making legit content, showing up for you guys on a weekly, regular basis in 2013. Before that, you'd be lucky to get 4 videos out of me a year. Okay, so you're not legit until you're being consistent at anything in life. When you are committed to something in life, then you can make a claim to something, because you didn't really get started until you made a firm commitment. You dabbled. And so dabblers don't usually get very far. So I was dabbling. I didn't have subscribers back in those early days with those earlier videos, nor was I entitled to any. So when I started doing weekly content in 2013, July 2013, Photoshop Thursdays, for those of you who remember that, I did Photoshop Thursdays for a year straight and added some sporadic videos in between, and I learned a lot from that, getting that first 10,000 subscribers in 12 months. And then it all went from there, and that's what happened. There was no blowing up. There was no real tipping point. It was all lessons learned and then applied. It was lessons learned and then applied over a period of time. And your growth may vary. There are people who have been using the lessons of this channel for less than a year that have surpassed my subscriber count by quite a bit. There are people who have been using the lessons of this channel. They're at like 300, 400, 600,000 and have surpassed it. And in many cases with less videos and less frequency of uploads. And hats off to them. I love their content. I love that they've been able to be those success stories. I'll be interviewing more of them on the channel. So I mean, that's just the real deal. I mean, you have to get fast, you have to get smart, you have to learn this stuff, you have to do your research, and you have to do something that you love enough. You have to do something that you love enough to show up for people every day or at least every week, even when you're hungry / hangry. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay, Luxury Card Store. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate you. So, that's the answer. I'm gonna start hiring, and then I can probably go to like a regular live schedule, or we could do live more often or something like that. Melly Illustrations. Roberto, will it be possible to interview you? Happy to pay for your time. I'd love to chat with you about some stuff. Interviews for like podcasts and stuff like that, hit me up on Twitter. It's the easiest way to get me. If you want to do consulting, then hit me up via email through my website. That's the easiest thing for that. So, that's the answer. Doing what you love is the most practical thing in the world, because doing stuff you hate isn't sustainable. I mean, that's how I ended up having severe anxiety and depression. And not doing that is why I'm happy as hell right now. So, and I can just sit here and play with my fidget spinner. So, that's what you have to look at, is what's going to be sustainable in the long term, not what's going to make you popular. Because if you're popular doing something you hate, something you don't love, that's not long-term sustainable. It can burn you out. You've seen some people that, I'll daily vlog and vlog my relationship, and it's ruined their lives. So, that's why I would say, you got to do something that you enjoy, something that's practical, and then you got to make it work financially. And, that's the answer. Yeah, you'll make sometimes doing the content you love, you will lose subscribers over it. You will lose views. You will lose view to sub ratio. But it's possibly that you're going to do something that you enjoy more, and that's more important. Doing what you want is the important thing. But then you just have to figure out how to make that sustainable monetarily. And if you need to figure that out, this channel has provided a ton of resources for figuring that out. And then you also tune into some of my homies who are entrepreneurs, people like Marie Forleo, Evan Carmichael, Sonny Laranduzzi, Amy Schmittauer, Owen Hemsath, Gary Vee. Like, there's so much that YouTube has gifted us with in terms of information and access. And so, again, take advantage of it. Will you ever visit Japan? It's on my list. I'm trying to prioritize it. But you know what? Iceland is more drone friendly. So I might go to Iceland or Belize first because it's more drone friendly. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I do get swamped by messages, but I do get to them. So, again, just keep pinging me in Twitter if you need to get me for an interview. I do get to them eventually. But, again, it's still faster than most ways of getting in touch with me, especially nowadays, especially with all the spam. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another YouTube live session. I need to go. I need to eat something. I need to eat. Human beings kind of need that. So again, thanks so much. Thank you for all of the super chat donations. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, giving me part of your Sunday. To all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day if you're watching this live or you're catching the replay and it's still Sunday. Super appreciate you. Guys, more than anything, go out there and create something awesome today. Also, remember, there are links in the description. Those are resource links to help you out, so make sure you're checking those out. Also, check out TubeBuddy, tubebuddy.com/awesome. Best tool for growing your YouTube channel. This is Roberto Blake, and I will catch you guys on the next stream. Take care and have a great night. Be safe out there.